You know how we always think of elite athletes as this simple mix of two things, raw talent and just tons of hard work? But what's really going on in their minds? Well, it turns out their personalities are shaped by, well, everything. From the heroes they watched as kids to these unconscious drives they don't even know they have. Today, we're going to unpack the hidden psychological blueprint of the athlete.
Okay, so let's really dive into this. How is an athlete's mind truly built? We're going to move way past that basic talent plus practice formula. We're going to uncover the hidden architecture, the real foundation of the athletic mind. And it's this fascinating journey of observation, influence, and yeah, even some deep-seated unconscious drives.
So where does an athlete's journey even begin? You might think it's in the gym or on the field, but actually, it's more likely on the couch or in the stands. It all starts with watching. This is the first and maybe the most powerful way we learn to play, to compete, and to think like an athlete.
And believe it or not, this process has a name: social learning theory. It's this simple but incredibly powerful idea that our brains are just wired to copy what we see. We're not learning in some kind of vacuum. We're learning from every single person and every play we see around us.
This whole theory really breaks down into three pretty simple steps. First up, you've got modeling. That's just watching someone else do something. Then comes imitation, where you try to copy what you just saw. And finally, you get reinforcement. Feedback. If you get praised or you succeed, you want to do it again. If you fail, well, you might try a different way next time. It's this continuous loop of watch, try, repeat.
And this is that first step, modeling, in action. Think about it. It's way more than just watching. A young player studying Messi isn't just seeing a goal. They're trying to download his entire on-field operating system, his technique, his split-second decisions, his whole attitude. That hero becomes their first blueprint.
But of course, athletes don't just learn from heroes on TV, right? The who is every bit as important as the how. The people closest to them, their inner circle, have this massive influence that can literally make or break their development.
And when you look at the breakdown, what jumps out? Family. They're the biggest piece of the pie. They're usually the ones who put a ball at your feet or a bat in your hands for the first time. But then come the coaches, who really start to shape skills and discipline. And of course, your teammates, your peers. Their influence just gets stronger and stronger over time. Even our culture has a say in what sports we end up valuing.
This right here is why coaches are so incredibly critical. They teach so much more than just the rules of the game. They're modeling character. An athlete doesn't just learn a shooting technique from their coach, they learn how to handle pressure, what real discipline feels like, and what a true work ethic looks like.
Okay, so we've talked about how athletes learn from the outside world, but what about the forces working from within? Let's peel back another layer and look at what we could call the hidden operating system. This is where the psychodynamic approach comes in.
So what's the difference between these two big ideas? Well, think of it like this. Social learning is all about what we can see, the observable stuff, like watching and imitating. But the psychodynamic view, which comes from guys like Freud, it digs way deeper. It asks why. Why are we so driven to compete in the first place? It's all about those hidden motivations.
And a really key concept here is something called sublimation. Now stick with me on this one. It's the idea that we can take these primal, really powerful impulses like aggression and channel them into something that's productive, structured, and even celebrated. And sport? Well, it's one of the best places for this to happen.
I mean, just think about it. The kind of raw aggression that would be totally unacceptable in daily life becomes the very engine of success in a sport like football or rugby. Sublimation is the concept that explains how that powerful instinct gets transformed into a perfectly clean tackle or a game-winning drive.
All right, now there's another huge piece of this puzzle we absolutely have to talk about, and that's gender. The expectations our culture has about gender play a massive role in an athlete's journey, right from day one.
From the time we're kids, we get these unwritten rules, don't we? That some sports are for boys and others are for girls. These old-school ideas can have a huge impact on who feels encouraged to even try a sport and who faces resistance before they even get started. And these stereotypes aren't just ideas. They create real-world hurdles, especially for female athletes. They might get discouraged from playing certain sports, while at the same time feeling this pressure to balance their athletic identity with traditional ideas of femininity. And on top of all that, they're still battling a system with huge inequality in media coverage and pay. It's a constant multi-front battle that goes way beyond the playing field.
So, after looking at all these forces, the social learning, the inner drives, the cultural pressures, what's the ultimate result of all this?
Well, it turns out that sport doesn't just build great athletes, it builds great people. The skills you learn inside the arena have a profound impact on everything you do outside of it.
And this is the real payoff, right? It's what happens off the field. Sport becomes this incredible training ground for life. You learn how to work in a team, how to lead, how to fail and get right back up. You learn to control your emotions under pressure and what it truly means to play fair. These are the fundamental building blocks of character.
And really, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. The teamwork, the discipline, the resilience, these aren't just sports skills, they are life skills. The whole process of becoming an athlete is also the process of building a kind of character that lasts a lifetime.
So let's end on this thought. Knowing the immense power that sport has to shape us from our very first observations all the way to our deepest motivations, it kind of forces us to ask a really critical question. How can we intentionally design our sports environments to build not just better athletes, but better people?